A proposal to construct one of the tallest buildings in the world in downtown Oklahoma City is being met with a combination of enthusiasm and skepticism. Will it ever get off the drawing board and become a reality? Reporter Steve Shaw joins us now with more on that story. Steve.
Taylor, I talked to the developer of this proposed project a few days ago. To him, it's not if this is going to happen, but how soon will they start?
Our goal is to start moving dirt in June or July with a grading and infrastructure permit.
Scot Matteson is a Newport Beach, California developer. He's been working with Oklahoma City for more than a year on a several $100 million project that initially would have included 4 345-foot high towers in Bricktown next to Reno and the railroad tracks in Lower Bricktown. Matteson says the project would include several hundred apartments, luxury condos, restaurants, retail, and 1, possibly 2 Hyatt hotels.
It's currently a surface parking lot. It's used for overflow parking for the Thunder, the Dodgers, convention center, the development that's currently next door, which is the Harkins Theater and the restaurants that are there and some other uses, office building, hotel.
Next to the big U-Haul building.
Exactly.
Matteson is no stranger to scale this size.
I built a high-rise, mixed-use condo, retail office building in downtown San Diego called Sapphire Tower, which Goldman Sachs was my partner on as well. I did a hotel in Houston called the Icon Hotel. Magic Johnson was my partner on that. We converted a 110-year-old bank building, very similar to the National Bank building in downtown Oklahoma City, into a hotel, which is managed by Marriott.
He says what he has planned for Bricktown is just a third of the size of a project he did in Miami.
Built the largest project in the United States called Miami World Center. It's 17 million square feet on 10 city blocks in downtown Miami. Been involved with that project for 15 years.
Matteson says when Oklahoma City voters back in December approved the extension of a penny sales tax that will build a new $900 million home for the Oklahoma City Thunder, his people came up with a new Bricktown plan. He calls it Phase 2. It involves the project's 4th tower. They now want to extend it from 345 feet high to 1,907 feet high, more than twice as high as Oklahoma City's Devon Tower. It will be known as Legends Tower. It will be the tallest tower in the United States, 6th tallest in the world.
The city itself is under, it needs another 3,500 hotel rooms, according to the studies that we've seen that were done by the city, and that's mainly due to the convention center. There's a shortage in hotel rooms, so we went back to Hyatt and said we want to do a second hotel. And so the thought was, let's go do a tower that's mixed use, has residential, hotel, and condos in it, and that's where the idea of the tall tower came out.
Is this legitimate?
This is legitimate.
Kenton Sudel is a former Oklahoma City Assistant City Manager and current CEO of its Alliance for Economic Development.
You know, the deal that we have with them is to do $550 million worth of development and 900 residential units and towers that are at least 20 stories. That's really what's codified in our contract with them. Anything above that is something that they can do, aspirational dreams, etc. You know, we don't want to limit their dreams, but really the deal we have with them was for the 20-story towers.
Sarah Welch manages Oklahoma City's subdivision and zoning office. She says Matteson's latest mammoth tower proposal still needs work.
From our office's perspective, they have to rezone the property.
And what would that entail?
Likely we would expect them to submit a new application called Simplified Planned Unit Development. You may hear it referred to as a SPUD.
And what would that do?
Well, that's a negotiated zoning district that would allow them to propose the heights that we think they're going to ask for, setbacks, building materials and signage, things like that.
We're going to start that process probably at the end of this week or maybe next week. We're ready to submit the application and start that process. And it should, take 3 or 4 months, hopefully, and hopefully we'll get approved. We've already applied to the FAA for the height, and that application's in process with them. It'll probably get done in the next 30 days.
Matteson thinks he can get the first 3 towers built sometime in 2026. The Legends Tower the following year.
And we have 100% financing on the entire project already in place.
I think we just worked very creatively, the city and the private sector here, to put together a deal that has some incentives, but they're incentives that they only get if they build it. If they don't build it, they don't get a dime.
There's quite a buzz about all of this.
I think everybody is just interested and waiting to see.
Chad Huntington has operated Bricktown Water Taxi for 25 years. He says this could be great.
Crazy to think about, isn't it? It really is obviously a head turner, and it would be a head turner if it's built. But even if only the phase 1 of that development happens, I think it's a huge positive for Bricktown and for downtown.
Kevin McCracken owns Whiskey Chicks in Lower Bricktown, just a stone's throw away from where Matteson's proposed development would sit. McCracken survived barely when streetcar track construction unintentionally choked off his business 7 years ago. McCracken heard about this 6 months ago.
Oh my, yeah, that's great. That's great. Well, we survived, the MAPS project, and, I know there'll be a lot of construction going on, so, bring it on. We'll still be here, Oklahoma City.
There's been a lot of talk and some studies how Oklahoma City has really had a more resilient downtown than others post-pandemic. I saw some stats today that the number of employees downtown is above where it was in 2019. The number of residents is above where it was in 2019. So we've really recovered and come through the pandemic nicely, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do to continue the growth.
There are more passengers coming through the airport in Oklahoma City now than there were 2019, a lot more.
Yeah, I think that's another part of this is we're really looking at all the different visitors, people visiting, coming to see, and as we continue to just build the amenity package and the attractions here, this could be just one more thing to help attract folks to Oklahoma City.
That 1,907-foot number is significant.